The Galactic Council chamber had never been quiet. For thousands of years, the room was always filled with sound. Deep voices echoed from every corner. Some spoke with pride, some with anger, some with cold authority. Decisions made in this chamber shaped the fate of entire star systems. Civilizations rose or fell because of what was said here. Fear had never lived in this place. The chamber itself was massive. A wide circular table floated above a glowing floor of blue light. Around it sat the most powerful species in the galaxy. Tall ones, ancient ones, creatures with scales, metal skin, glowing eyes, and minds far older than any human city. They believed nothing could surprise them anymore. They were wrong. At the far end of the chamber, a signal light turned green. The doors began to open, slowly. No alarm sounded. No guards rushed forward. But something changed in the air. The softened machine seemed to fade. Conversations stopped, one by one. The doors fully opened. A single figure walked inside. Human. No armor covered the figure's body. No weapons were visible. No guards followed behind. Just one human, walking alone across the glowing floor. Each step echoed. The council members stared. Some leaned forward. Others leaned back. A few tightened their claws around the arms of their seats. One ancient being blinked twice, its eyes narrowing. Humans were not supposed to look like this. The reports said humans were loud, emotional, weak, a short-lived species from a dangerous world with unstable politics. They fought among themselves too often. They argued too much. They were meant to burn out quickly. Yet the human walking toward the center of the chamber did not look weak. The human walked with calm steps. The posture was straight. The head was raised, but not in pride. The face showed no fear, no anger, no excitement, only control. The human stopped at the exact center of the chamber. Silence filled the room. It was not forced silence. It was not ordered. It happened naturally, as if the chamber itself was holding its breath. One council member finally spoke. Its voice was sharp and cold. You stand before the Galactic Council without permission. The human did not respond right away. Instead, the human slowly looked around the chamber. Eyes moved from one council member to the next, studying them, measuring them. The council felt something uncomfortable. They were being observed, not judged, observed. The human finally spoke. We did not come for permission. The words were simple, calm, soft, yet the effect was heavy. Several council members reacted at once. Some hissed, some clicked their jaws, others whispered in their own languages. One of the oldest council members leaned forward. Its body was tall and thin, covered in silver markings that showed its age. Then why are you here, human? It asked. The human took a slow breath. To be seen. That answer caused confusion. Humans had tried to speak to the council before. Long ago, they sent messages, requests, peace offers, trade proposals. The council ignored them. Later, when humans grew stronger, the council laughed at them. Still later, the council dismissed them. Now this human stood here, uninvited, calm, and fearless. That made no sense. Another council member spoke, its voice filled with quiet mockery. You are alone, it said. You bring no fleet, no army, no proof of strength. The human's eyes did not move. That is correct, the human said. A few council members relaxed slightly. Some even showed signs of amusement, but not all of them. A species known for reading energy fields shifted uncomfortably. Its eyes glowed faintly as it studied the human. Something felt wrong. There was power here. Not loud power. Not aggressive power. Controlled power. The kind that waits. The kind that does not need to shout. The human placed both hands calmly behind their back. We are aware of how you see us, the human said. Weak. Divided. Temporary. Several council members nodded without shame. You watched our wars, the human continued. You watched our failures. You watched us struggle to survive on our own world. The human paused, but you stopped watching after that. The chamber felt colder. A low sound echoed as the doors behind the human sealed shut. No one had ordered it. The system had done it automatically. That should not have happened. A ripple of unease spread across the council. The human raised their eyes again. "You did not watch us learn," the human said. "You did not watch us adapt. You did not watch us change." The human's voice remained calm, but something else was there now. Certainty. The council realized something unsettling. This human did not come to argue, did not come to beg, did not come to threaten. The human came because the time for ignoring humanity was over. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Council felt a new emotion enter the chamber. Not anger, not curiosity, fear. And the human had not even revealed why they were truly there. The silence in the Galactic Council chamber did not break quickly. It stretched. Several council members shifted in their seats. The human still stood at the center of the room, calm and unmoving, as if time itself had slowed around them. The oldest council member finally spoke again. "You claim we stopped watching you," it said. "Why should that matter?" The human did not answer immediately. Instead, the human raised one hand. A small device rested in the palm. No weapons, no threat signals. Just a smooth, dark object no larger than a stone. With a simple motion, the human activated it. A hologram formed above the glowing floor. At first, it showed Earth, a blue world, beautiful, alive. The council had seen this image before. Nothing impressive. Then the image changed. Storms, quakes, fires, floods. The planet looked hostile. "Our world tried to kill us," the human said calmly. Some council members reacted with mild interest. Death world stories were common. Many species came from harsh environments. The hologram shifted again. Human cities collapsing. Wars. Explosions. Smoke. "And so did we," the human continued. The council expected pride in the voice. Or regret. There was neither. Only fact. One council member laughed softly. Its voice echoed. "You destroyed yourselves. That proves our judgment was correct." The humans slowly turned their head toward the speaker. "Yes," the human said. "We did." The council member paused, confused by the agreement. "But we survived it," the human added. The hologram changed again. Rebuilt cities. Stronger structures. Energy shields protecting millions. Machines repairing damage faster than before. "We learned from every mistake," the human said. "Every war. Every failure." The room grew quiet again. A species known for long memories spoke next. "You're divided," it said. "Your kind fought itself for centuries." "Yes," the human replied. "You wasted resources, lives, time." "Yes." The council member leaned forward. "Then explain why you are here." The human lowered their hand. The hologram remained, frozen on an image of a massive human shipyard floating in deep space. "We are here," the human said, "because while you stopped watching us, we were watching you." That statement sent a ripple through the chamber. Several council members exchanged looks. That was not possible. Humans were not advanced enough to observe council space undetected. Or so they thought. The hologram shifted again. This time, it showed a familiar star system, council-controlled. Then another, and another. Routes, trade lanes, border worlds. All mapped, all detailed. A cold feeling spread through the chamber. One council member stood suddenly. "This is impossible," it said. "Our space is protected." The human looked at the image. "Yes," the human replied. "Protected from invasion." The human turned back to council. "We never invaded." The implication was clear. The room grew tense. Another council member spoke, its voice sharp. "Are you threatening us?" The humans shook their heads slowly. "No." A pause. "We are explaining ourselves." That answer made some council members more uneasy than any threat could. The human continued. "When your ships vanished near our borders, we noticed. When your wars grew closer to our systems, we noticed." The hologram showed wreckage. Destroyed ships drifting in space. The council recognized some of them. Pirates, raiders, unofficial fleets. They had disappeared without explanation. We did not report this, the human said. We did not ask for thanks. The hologram changed again. Human ships escorting alien civilian vessels. Human crews repairing damaged stations. Human medical teams helping species that did not even know their names. Why? One council member asked quietly. The human's eyes hardened slightly. Because no one helped us when we were weak. That answer struck deeper than expected. The council chamber felt heavier. A council member with deep psychic ability focused on the human. It tried to sense fear, aggression, deception. It sensed none. What it sensed instead was restraint, a dangerous kind. The psychic council member withdrew, shaken. You could have announced yourselves sooner, the oldest council member said. Yes, the human replied. Then why wait? The human looked around the chamber again. We waited, the human said, to see who you truly were. That statement cut deep. The council realized something uncomfortable. Humanity had been judging them, silently, carefully, for a long time. The human took a small step forward. For centuries, the human said, this council decided who mattered and who did not. The words were calm, but the meaning was sharp. We wanted to know, the human continued, what you would do when someone you believed was weak became strong without your permission. No one spoke. The human lowered their voice. Now you know. The chamber lights dimmed slightly as the hologram faded. The human stood alone again in the center of the room. The council felt it clearly now. They were no longer speaking to a minor species. They were speaking to a power that had grown quietly in the dark. And this was only the beginning. The Galactic Council did not rule the galaxy for thousands of years by staying silent. Fear was new to them, but pride was old. One of the larger council members rose from its seat. Its body was covered in thick armor-like skin, marked with symbols of many victories. You speak boldly for a species without a council seat, it said. You show us images and stories, but stories are not power. The chamber hummed with agreement. The human did not interrupt. Many species have survived harsh worlds, the council member continued. Many have rebuilt after war. That does not make you special. The human nodded once. We agree, the human said. That answer confused them. Another council member spoke, its voice smooth and cold. If you are strong, it said, then show us. Why should the Galactic Council fear you? The word fear echoed through the chamber. The human did not smile. Fear was never our goal, the human replied. The human raised a small device again. This time, the hologram that appeared was different. It showed a timeline. Slow, careful. Humanity's early space travel. Small ships, many failures. Lost crews. The council watched closely. Then the timeline sped up. Human technology improved rapidly. Engines became faster. Shields stronger. Weapons smarter, but rarely used. The human spoke calmly as the images played. We failed often, the human said, so we learned faster. The hologram zoomed in on human engineers working together. Scientists arguing, testing, breaking things, rebuilding them. You call us divided, the human said. You were right. The image changed again. Different human nations, different languages, different cultures. Then another change, all of them working together. But when we face extinction, the human continued, we unite. The council grew quiet. The armored council member scoffed. Unity under fear is temporary, it said. The human looked directly at it. So is ignorance, the human replied. A murmur spread across the chamber. The human touched the device again. The hologram shifted to something the council had never seen. A massive structure in deep space. Not a ship, not a station. Something else. It was enormous, silent, hidden between stars. What is that? One council member asked. The human paused before answering. A listening post, the human said. The council reacted instantly. That is forbidden, another council member snapped. No species may place structures beyond. It is not in your space, the human interrupted calmly. The interruption shocked them more than the structure itself. "It is in the space you ignore," the human continued. "The dark regions, the places you consider useless." The hologram zoomed out. Dozens of similar structures appeared. The council's confidence cracked. "These posts do not spy," the human said. "They listen." "To what?" the oldest council member asked carefully. The human's expression darkened slightly. "To threats you do not hear," the human replied. The hologram changed again. Signals, unknown patterns, distortions in space. Not council technology, not human technology. Something else. The chamber went completely silent. The human lowered their hand. "We discovered them while expanding slowly," the human said. Cautiously, the armored council member leaned forward. "And why have we not detected this?" The human answered without hesitation. "Because you were not looking for danger," the human said. "You were looking for control." That statement struck deeply. The psychic council member tried again to read the human's mind. This time it recoiled sharply. There was something vast behind the human's calm. Not rage, not hunger, responsibility. "You expect us to believe you protect the galaxy?" one council member asked. "No," the human said. "We expect you to understand that someone has to." The council erupted in voices, accusations, anger, denial. The humans stood still while the room argued around them. When the noise finally faded, the oldest council member spoke. "You speak as if you already stand above us," it said. The humans shook their head. "No," the human replied. "We stand with the galaxy." The human took a slow step forward, but not beneath it. That was the moment the council truly understood. Humanity did not seek domination. They sought balance, and they were willing to carry the burden alone if needed. One council member asked a question none of them wanted to voice. "What happens?" it asked quietly. "If we refuse to accept you?" The human did not answer immediately. Instead, the hologram returned one last time. It showed a human fleet, not attacking, not advancing, waiting, silent, massive, prepared. The human finally spoke. "Nothing," the human said. A pause. "Until something threatens a galaxy." The human looked around the chamber one final time. "And then," the human added, "we will act, with or without your approval." The hologram faded. The chamber lights returned to normal, but the feeling did not. The Galactic Council realized the truth too late. They were no longer deciding the future alone, and humanity had already chosen its role. The Galactic Council chamber did not recover from the humans' words. Even after the hologram vanished, many council members kept staring at the empty space where the human fleet had been shown. No one spoke at first. The silence now felt heavy, not calm. The oldest council member finally broke it. "You claim you are listening for threats we cannot hear," it said. "Then speak clearly. What threat?" The human did not answer immediately. Instead, the human activated the device again. This time, the hologram did not show ships or maps. It showed darkness, empty space between galaxies. Many council members relaxed slightly. Empty space was nothing new. Then the darkness moved. Slow distortions appeared, like shadows bending light, like space folding inward and then stretching again. Several council members leaned forward. "These are not natural," one whispered. "No," the human agreed. "They are not." The hologram zoomed in. The distortions formed shapes. Not solid, not energy. Something in between. The psychic council member suddenly cried out and pulled back violently. "Turn it off," it said. "I feel hunger." The human paused the hologram, but did not turn it off. "These entities do not think like us," the human said. "They do not speak. They do not negotiate." The armored council member crossed its arms. "And you expect us to believe this danger is real?" it demanded. "Why have they not attacked?" The human looked at it calmly. "They are patient," the human said. "So were we." That answer chilled the room. The hologram resumed. Images now showed vanished star systems. Empty space where stars should have been. No explosions. No debris. just absence. This happened beyond your borders, the human explained. In regions you declared unimportant. The council recognized the coordinates. Remote zones, ignored zones, sacrifice zones. One council member whispered, entire systems. Yes, the human said, quietly erased. The council chamber filled with unease. Why show us this now? The oldest council member asked. The human lowered the device. Because they are moving closer, the human said. The words fell like weight. How close? Another council member asked. The human hesitated for the first time. Too close, the human replied. That hesitation frightened the council more than any image. The psychic council member spoke again, voice shaking. They are aware of us, it said. Of the galaxy. Yes, the human confirmed. Then why are we still alive? The armored council member asked. The human looked at the council carefully. Because they study, the human said. Just as we did. The room felt cold. They test defenses. The human continued. They observe reactions. They wait for unity or weakness. The human paused. They see a galaxy divided. The council did not argue. It was true. One council member rose slowly. You hid this information, it said. You let us remain blind. The human met its gaze. We watched to see if you would protect those outer systems, the human said. A pause. You did not. That truth cut deep. The human continued. We evacuated where we could, the human said. We warned some species quietly. The council realized something painful. Humanity had already been fighting this war alone. In small ways, the human said, delays, disruptions, disappearances you never questioned. The council remembered lost fleets, broken signals, unexplained failures. You interfered with council operations, the armored council member said angrily. Yes, the human replied. You risk galactic stability. No, the human said calmly. We preserved it. The difference mattered. The hologram shifted one final time. This time, it showed human fleets again, but now they were positioned across vast distances. Defensive lines, evacuation routes, early warning zones. This is not an invasion force, the human said. It is a shield. The oldest council member studied the display carefully. You prepared all this without us, it said. Yes. Why? The human answered simply. Because you would have argued, the human said. You would have delayed. That was true as well. The council chamber filled with low sounds of fear and realization. For the first time, the council understood something important. Humanity did not fear acting alone. They feared acting too late. One council member asked quietly, What do you want from us now? The human turned off a hologram. Nothing filled the space. We want honesty, the human said. We want coordination. And we want you to stop pretending the galaxy is safe. The human looked around the chamber. If you choose to deny this, the human continued, we will still stand. A pause. But if you choose to stand with us, the human added, the galaxy survives. The council understood the choice. Pride or survival. Control or cooperation. The human stepped back slightly. This is why we came. The human said, not to rule, not to threaten. The human's voice lowered. But to warn you. The chamber remained silent long after the human finished speaking. Fear had fully settled now. Not fear of humanity. Fear of what was coming. And fear that they might already be too late. The Galactic Council chamber felt smaller than before. The human stood quietly at the center, waiting. Not demanding. Not rushing. The choice now belonged to the council, and everyone in the chamber knew it. The oldest council member looked around the circle. For the first time, it said slowly, this council faces a threat we do not control. That admission alone shook the room. Not all members accepted it. One council member rose sharply. Its voice was filled with anger. This is manipulation, it said. The humans show us fear and expect obedience. Several members nodded in agreement. The armored council member stepped forward. If we accept their story, It said, "We give up authority. We allow a younger species to guide us." The word younger carried insult. The human did not react. Another council member, smaller and quieter, spoke hesitantly. "But they are right," it said, "and we ignore this." It did not finish the sentence. The silence did it for them. The psychic council member finally spoke again. Its voice was weak but honest. "I felt the threat," it said, "not from the human, from beyond." Many council members turned toward it in shock. "You are certain?" the oldest member asked. "Yes," the psychic replied. It was vast, empty, hungry. Fear spread openly now. The armored council member slammed its claw against the floor. "Even if this threat exists," it said, "why should humans lead the response?" The human raised their head slightly. "We do not ask to lead," the human said calmly. The council member sneered. "Then what do you ask?" The human answered without hesitation, "That you stop standing in the way." That answer caused an uproar. Voices filled the chamber. Accusations flew. Pride clashed with fear. The oldest council member raised its voice, and the chamber slowly quieted. "We must think clearly," it said. "If we reject humanity, what happens?" No one answered. The answer was obvious. The oldest member turned to the human. "And if we accept your warning," it asked, "what do you expect from us?" The human thought for a moment. "Unity," the human said. "Shared intelligence." "And trust." The word trust caused discomfort. "You hid information from us," one council member said. "You acted without permission." "Yes," the human replied, "because permission would cost lives." That truth cut deep. The council remembered how long it took them to agree on anything. Debates that lasted years. Votes delayed by politics. Entire species lost while discussions continued. The human took a slow breath. "We are not perfect," the human said. "We argue. We fight. We fail." The council listened closely. "But when extinction stands at the door," the human continued, "we choose action." The human looked around the chamber. Every time. The oldest council member leaned back, thinking. "For centuries," it said, "we believed strength meant control." The human said nothing. "Perhaps," the oldest member continued, "we were wrong." That admission shocked the chamber. A council member shouted, "You would surrender the galaxy to humans?" The oldest member turned sharply. "No," it said, "I would surrender arrogance." The room fell silent again. The oldest council member faced the human. "If we stand with you," it said, "you must stand openly. No more shadows. No more silence." The human nodded. "Agreed." "And if we stand against you?" The human did not hesitate. "Then we will still protect the galaxy," the human said. "But you will no longer be informed." That statement carried weight. The council understood what that meant. They would become irrelevant. A long pause followed. Then, one by one, council members made their choices. Some stood in agreement. Others remained seated but silent. A few turned away, refusing to accept reality. The council was no longer united. The oldest council member raised its staff. "The Galactic Council," it announced, "will form a joint defense with humanity." Gasps filled the chamber. "This decision is made in the name of survival," it continued. The armored council member roared in anger. "This is betrayal." "No," the oldest member replied calmly. "This is adaptation." The human closed their eyes briefly, not in victory, in relief. The decision had been made, but it came at a cost. As the chamber doors opened again, alarms suddenly flashed red. A cold mechanical voice echoed through the room. "Warning. Unauthorized spatial distortion detected." The human's eyes snapped open. The psychic council member screamed. "They are here," it said. "They are testing us." The hologram burst to life without the human touching the device. A star system near the council's core space flickered, then vanished, erased. The chamber erupted into panic. The human stepped forward, voice strong and clear. "This," the human said, "is why we came." The council realized the truth too late. The choice they made was not early. It was just in time. And now, there would be no more waiting. The Galactic Council chamber was no longer calm. Red warning lights flashed across the walls. The smooth blue glow of the floor turned dark as emergency systems activated. Voices overlapped in panic. Some council members shouted orders. Others demanded explanations that came too late. On the main hologram, the vanished star system replayed again and again. One moment it existed. The next it was gone. No explosion. No sound. Just empty space. The psychic council member collapsed into its seat, trembling. "They are probing," it said weakly. "Testing reaction time." The oldest council member turned to the human. "How long do we have?" it asked. The human did not look at the council. The human looked at the hologram. "Minutes," the human said. That answer froze the chamber. The armored council member stepped forward angrily. "You said you would warn us," it roared. "We did," the human replied calmly. "For years." The alarms grew louder. The human raised a small device once more. This time, the hologram expanded beyond the chamber walls. It connected to systems the council did not even know existed. Human command nodes, defense networks, hidden relays across deep space. The council watched as human fleets moved, not in chaos, but in perfect order. No shouting, no confusion, just motion. "They're everywhere," one council member whispered. "Yes," the human said. "They always were." The oldest council member felt something strange. Not fear. Relief. "What do you need from us?" it asked. The human finally turned to face the council fully. "Open your command channels," the human said. "Share everything. And do not interfere." The council hesitated for only a second. Then the oldest member struck its staff against the floor. "All council systems, open access," it commanded. The decision shocked many. But it was done. The human nodded once. "Thank you." That word carried weight. The hologram shifted again. The shadow-like distortions appeared. Closer now. Larger. More defined. Council sensors screamed warnings. "They are entering real space," someone shouted. The human spoke quietly, but the voice carried through the chaos. "Humanity does not fear the dark," the human said. "We were born in it." Human fleets engaged, but not with wildfire. They did not rush forward. They formed layers. Shields appeared where space itself bent. Energy fields overlapped. Traps activated silently. The first entity touched the defense line and stopped. It pushed. The line held. The entity recoiled. The council stared in disbelief. "You stopped it," one council member whispered. The humans shook their head. "No," the human said. "We measured it." Human weapons activated next, but not weapons of destruction. Containment fields. Compression zones. Space folded inward around entities, locking them in place. "They adapt," the psychic council member cried. "Yes," the human replied. "So do we." The entities shifted tactics. They tried to bypass. Human systems adjusted instantly. No debate. No delay. The oldest council member understood then. This was the true difference. Humanity did not wait for agreement. They acted. The entities began to retreat. Confusion rippled through them. If such a thing was possible, they had expected weakness. They found preparation. The human leaned slightly forward. "Now," the human said. A final command echoed through human networks. The containment fields collapsed inward, not violently, but precisely. The entities vanished, not destroyed. Removed. The hologram stabilized. Silence returned to the chamber. Slow. Heavy. Real. The alarms faded. The red lights dimmed. One council member sank into its seat. "It's over," it asked quietly. "For now," the human said. The oldest council member stood. For the first time, it said, the Galactic Council was not the strongest force in the room. The human met its gaze. "For the first time," the human replied, "the galaxy survived because we stood together." The council chamber doors opened again. This time they felt different. Not threatening. Not dismissive. Respectful, the oldest council member raised its staff one final time. From this day forward, it announced, humanity holds a permanent seat on the Galactic Council. No laughter followed, only agreement. The human did not smile. Instead, the human looked out toward the stars. Humanity had not come to rule. They had come to protect. And the galaxy had finally learned the truth. Fear did not belong to humans. Fear belonged to those who underestimated them. From that day on, whenever the Galactic Council spoke of survival, unity, and strength, one memory always returned. The day a quiet human walked into the chamber, and fear changed sides.